Everything going? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
What's up? What's up, man?
Hey, uh, how's your weekend going?
Man, going pretty good. Can't complain at all. How about yours?
Yeah, it's going good, man. It's going good. I am just working on like getting some what is that like the agentic AI stuff. I'm just working on a project I started last night. I'm just building a portfolio management tool for stock ideas, building a portfolio using AI. So
Yeah, that's what's
I've been
up.
working on that. It's going good.
It's
What's
good.
up?
What's up, Josh?
How are you guys?
Good, good. What's up, John?
Awesome.
Good, man.
What's up, sis? And it's my duties monthly. I only do them monthly. Folks be like, you need to do them every week. I be like, man, I be so busy. Like, I wish I could do them every week.
Uh-huh.
But it's cool, though. It's cool. It's cool. Let a few more people come in a little bit, then we get this party going. Like I said, I'm gonna go over a few things, working on a few things, do a little presentation, kind of let
hmm
everybody know what I'm seeing in the world and seeing what's going on and projects I'm working on and stuff like that. So should be a pretty good
hmm
one. Should be a pretty good one today. Like I said,
Good, good.
yeah. Look, some people might get triggered today, but anybody that know me, I'm used to triggering people. I've been like this since I was in preschool. Yeah, yeah, elementary school. I've been like that. But yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Let's see. It's three. Alright, let's see. If a few more people come in, probably get about a minute. I'm gonna go and get started because I'm only being here probably about an hour and a half. Now I'm coming there and
uh,
come and Josh me too. What you finna
maybe
say?
I just said like maybe record the video, Trey. Maybe you're already recording. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I'm recording. I gotta record.
Oh, cool,
I'm
cool,
gonna make
cool.
sure I record it just in case, because I kind of did it late at the last minute. So I said, let me record this. I
hmm
know some people be busy on service and stuff.
hmm
All right, but yep, I'm gonna go and get started. Let's see. Show my screen. Good. All right. All right. Can y'all share my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. So today I'm gonna show y'all just so we just gonna act like we got hired at Anthropic and we're Agentic AI security engineer. And first day at work, I'm gonna kind of show y'all like what it kind of look like, what it kind of feel like, some of the first things you're gonna be doing and stuff like that, and how we gonna do it. So when Anthropic source code was leaked, it was a few people ran out and put the source code together. This one of the biggest GitHubs. They kind of put the whole cloud code together and got it actually working. I think he got like 24,000 stars. And it actually works. It actually works like cloud code. So this is the leaked source code of cloud code and it's open source. So pretty much when you go into a company, you're gonna have to kind of go in and kind of figure out the code base and then kind of talk to your manager and boss on what's the most important thing to him or her or whatever. And you're gonna have to go through the code base. Most of the time it's a lot of debugging or a lot of updates or version control and going from one version to another version or adding on some AI stuff. So how we're gonna do it is we're gonna do it through GitHub, and I'm gonna show you some features that you may or may not know about. Let's see. Let's go back over here. So, and this they Twitter account, it went kind of viral because a lot of people like, oh snap, Cloud Cloud Code source code got leaked. What the heck going on? So people trying to figure out how to put it together because this actually taught me a lot studying this source code and studying open cloud source code. And also, it's a few others. And I think open code is kind of like cloud code too. Their source code is pretty interesting. Then it's a big debate going on whether you should learn how to code, should not learn how to code. whatever. Me, I'm kind of in the middle. I'm far away from learning how to code the traditional way. Now, the traditional way, I've never learned that way, and it just took too much time, and I saw most people just couldn't do it. Now, it works for some people, but there's a newer, faster way to learn how to code these days. Now, this is like a big debate, and the world is just up in arms and be almost about to fight and kill each other over. I be like, hey, long as we get the result and the outcome, who cares whether you learn how to code, not how to code, go from scratch, know how to go from scratch, vibe code, the whole thing. Now, I'm gonna let y'all hear the person that actually created that helped the company make billions of dollars. What do he think about this particular topic? And it's interesting. You know what I'm saying? What he say? No, it's a quick clip, and this should really put it to bed for a lot of people. Like I said, I'm gonna give you how I do it, and pretty much how he recommend do it in other videos, because it's not the traditional way of learning how to code. All right, we're just gonna play this. It's a short clip.
What I'm hearing here is there's always this question, should I learn to code? Should people in school learn to code? What I heard from you is your take is
I can't hear
in
you.
like a year or two, you don't really need.
Say again.
I'm not able to hear the YouTube person talking. I can hear you though.
You can't hear it? Okay, let's see.
Maybe it's just me. Can others hear the YouTube guy?
No, I can't hear it either.
Okay,
Oh,
let's
okay, cool.
see. Sorry about that. Let me see. Let me see.
I think it's just you have to turn
It may
on a certain setting in
be.
school.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
that's what I'm gonna go look at now. Let me see. So communication mic. Let's see. Communication mic, JBL, audio. Let's see. Mic, JBL, audio. Let's see. If it don't work, I just have to tell y'all pretty much what he said. Let's see. Mic, speaker effect. I'm gonna try it one more time. Noise cancellation. What you say, bro?
Just turn on the subtitles if there is one, man. We
Okay,
we can
yep.
still like read and understand. Yeah.
Yep, for real, for real.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much he asked him, I'm gonna rewind a little bit.
To. What I'm hearing here is there's always this question, should I learn to code? Should people?
Nope, I can't hear any.
What I'm
I
hearing
can
here
hear
is
you.
there's always this question, should I learn to code? Should people in school learn to code?
So pretty much he asked the guy that created Cloud Code, should you or should you not learn to code?
What I heard from you is your take is in like a year or two, you don't really need to.
He said in his take, the creator of Cloud Code, he said it's not gonna really matter. Now he gonna explain himself, and he's been getting threats about this and all this crazy stuff. But he's the guy that created Cloud Code that helped make billions. So you got billionaires talking, millionaires talking. You got people that got no money or even a job. So let's hear what this guy got to say. You can read the subtitle. I'm gonna kind of do a little commentation so you can kind of.
You're not sharing your screen, Trey.
I'm not. Let's see.
Yeah. Or I can't see it.
Let's go back to share the screen.
Hey Albert. Hey Chana. Hey John. Hey Josh.
Hey, what's up, Anand?
Hey.
Afternoon,
I
everyone.
saw the button. What's up, Albert?
Hey, what's going on, man? Sorry, joining late. Finished cooking, man. So sorry for being late.
Got the chef over there.
But did you clean up after yourself?
What'd you say?
I said, but did you clean up after yourself?
Oh, absolutely. Everything is in the dishwasher.
I know, right?
Yeah, I just finished cleaning up my house too, so that's why I was joking.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah, I'll clean as you go.
I know, right? No, that's Al. That's my good buddy. We talk and chat every day, all day. He work cybersecurity and doing AI stuff for a hospital, and so he gets some like know a lot of stuff. Let's see.
And I
Can you
think
hear me?
for some people, they're
Voice.
going to feel a greater sense
Can
of,
you hear it this time?
I don't know, maybe like
Okay, cool.
loss
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
nostalgia, or
Alright.
Yeah, we
isn't
hear it.
the AI just writing binary straight to binary?
All right, so Ab, you came in a little late, so I'm gonna give you an update. So it's the big debate: should you learn how to code? Should you learn how not to code? I'm kind of in the middle, and not learn how to code the traditional old way, which take forever. So this guy finna answer the question. This is the guy that created Cloud Code. He like created it. He like made it. So he pretty much kind of say what I say, like, hey, we do stuff a little different in the real world, and it ain't what you think. So I'm gonna let him kind of answer that. So this guy, he just kind of doing an interview. He finna ask him the question.
Because what's the point of all this, programming abstraction in the end?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, it totally can do that if you wanted to.
Oh man. So what I'm hearing here is there's always this question: should I learn to code? Should people in school learn to code? What I heard from you is your take is in like a year or two, you don't really need to.
My take is, I think for people that are using that are using Quad Code, that are using agents to code today, you still have to understand the layer under. But yeah, in a year or two, it's not going to matter. I was thinking.
So he just said in a year or two it's not gonna matter. I wonder why. In the way we used to code 2 years ago versus now and even 4 years ago, they're all different. They're all so different. Now we got to think. This is not just some Rudy Prue Yankee guy running around, don't know what he's talking about. Another YouTube influencer, another person that don't got no. This is the creator himself of Cloud Code. And he just pretty much said, hey, about a year or two, it ain't gonna really matter. Now, he said you gotta kind of understand how things work. Like I said, that's what I'm kind of showing everybody today. He finna go over the mindset of how a lot of the stuff work. And this topic pisses a lot of people off. And I just be like, hey,
Yeah.
companies only really care about the outcome. Are you getting the work done and how much money you save? They don't really care how it got done. They don't care if you coded it line from line. They don't care. They just want to know, did you get the job done? Is it secure? Do it work? How fast did you do it? That's all they care about. They don't care who did it, cat dog. But this guy right here, he's the creator.
Thinking about what is the right like historical analog for this? Because like somehow we have to situate this thing in history and kind of figure out when have we gone through similar transitions.
Oh yeah. So now he finna give the print press as a concept, meaning the print press. Before print press came along, guys used to write. You had scribes; they would write the books, write everything. When the print press came or the print press started to come, everybody was freaking out, burning down printing press. Said, "No, we're not gonna do it. You can't take our job." Yada yada yada. But then you had the other side of the group like, "Hey, I can just learn how to do the print press and keep my job and learn how to run these machines." That's what's going on with AI right now. So you had people just tried to kill Sam Altman last week or 2 weeks. It's this same cycle, and he finna pretty much explain it. But he said he even get pushback himself. He says people at his company, they still like to code line by line. He said they don't get enough work done. He said, but they're smart in other areas. He said they don't get enough work done. He said, but they smart with dealing with people. So I think he's just being nice, and these guys probably got to have some kind of PR person to talk for them, because most coders, we kind of rough around the edges a little bit.
So what's the right kind of mental model for this? I think the thing that's come closest for me is the printing press. And so, if you look at Europe in, like in the mid 1400s, literacy was actually very low. There was sub 1% of the population. It was scribes that, they were the ones that did all the writing. They were the ones that did all the reading. They were employed by like lords and kings that often were not literate themselves. And so, it was their job of this very tiny percent of the population to do this. And at some point, Gutenberg and the printing press came along. And there was this crazy stat that in the 50 years after the printing press was built, there was more printed material created than in the 1,000 years before.
Now think about what he just said. There's gonna be more work done, more opportunities, but it's gonna be different from the regular scribing. The old way of working is kind of going away. It's just gonna be the new way of the new style of working. And is it going to gradually happen? I think it's going to kind of almost happen overnight. It's going to be gradually, kind of gradually. Then I think it's just going to pop out of nowhere.
And so the volume of printed material just went way up. The cost went way down. It went down something like 100x over the next 50 years.
Same thing going on with AI. Need less people, more people. One person can do the more work. It's the same concept.
And if you look at literacy, it actually took a while because learning to read and write is, it's quite hard. It takes an education system. It takes free time. It takes like not having to work on a farm all day so that you actually have time for education and things like this. But over the next 200 years, it went up to like 70% globally. So I think this is the kind of thing that we might see is a similar kind of transition. And there was actually this interesting historical document where there was an interview with some like scribe in the 1400s about like, how do you feel about the printing press? And they were actually very excited because they were like, actually, the thing that I don't like doing is copying between books. The thing that I do like doing is drawing the art in books and then doing the book binding. And I'm really glad that now my time is freed up. And it's interesting, like as an engineer, I sort of felt like a parallel with this. Like this is sort of how I feel, where I don't have to do the tedious work anymore of coding, because this has always been sort of the detail of it. It's always been the tedious part of it and kind of like messing with like Git and kind of using all these different tools. That was not the fun part. The fun part is figuring out what to build and coming up with this. It's talking to users. It's thinking about these big systems. It's thinking about the future. It's collaborating with, other people on the team. And that's what I get to do more of now.
All right, so that's that on that one. All right, so we can go over a little news. Jensen, the guy of the chip company, he pretty much said the same thing. Everybody know Claude Anthropic guy, Dario, he say it all the time. Now Meta, it's a lot of cuts and job layoffs. Like I said, it's a lot. Like I said, it's a lot of money to be made with AI and cybersecurity. When you combine the two, you pretty much you're gonna have unlimited ways to make money, unlimited job. You're just gonna have a lot. Now, 20,000 just this year. Now, in May 20th, they talking about laying off another 8,000. 8,000. Why would I want to work for Meta? Why would I want to work for any of these big Amazon, Oracle, Facebook, Meta, Snapchat, Netflix? Why? Because they're going to be the first person that's going to integrate a lot of this AI stuff. Like I said, but if you know AI, they probably not going to fire you. Just like, we got a guy on the call now. They was doing mass layoffs at his company. He was in cybersecurity. He didn't know if he was on the hit list or not. He was, doing AI projects, and he was posting them on LinkedIn, and his company kept him and pretty much say, hey man, we put it in the job order. We want you to help us run the AI section. This actually happened. I actually know this guy. This is actually a thing. It actually happened. Now, that's because he was learning AI. Did the company say, hey, you better learn AI or we're going to cut your head off? No, they didn't do it like that. They just kind of hinted at it a little bit because they know people get a lot of pushback, stuff like that. All right, Snapchat, 16% layoff. Like I said, this right here, this is AI, the robots cooking food, housemaids. That's coming too. I'm just kind of showing y'all stuff that I'm seeing and stuff that's coming. Like me, I like to be real. I can easily lie to y'all like everybody else, but anybody that know me, I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm gonna keep it a band because I feel bad if I lie to someone when I know I could have told them the truth on what's up and what's going on. And it bothers me to just tell a person anything. Now, if they want to debate, that's cool. We can debate, but I'm just gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna let you keep believing what you believe. Like I said, all right. So now everybody was up in arms and going so crazy about OpenClaw. OpenClaw is so secure, yada yada yada. But no one is saying anything about Anthropic, Claude, the billion-dollar company getting hacked all the time, leaking all their source code, and Claude Thanos got leaked and got hacked. But nobody's saying nothing. What's crazy, Claude and OpenClaw, they steal from each other, which they both got good ideas. I like both of them. Me personally, they steal from each other. I like both of them. So that's interesting, but because they got the money to say, hey, shut up, don't be talking bad about us, just in the news. So they got the PR script. I got a buddy work at Apple. Apple just got a new CEO. I said, what's going on at Apple, bro? He said, bro, we went from not talking about AI to never using AI to firing this to get rid of the CEO to we finna start using AI. He said, pretty much overnight. I said, bro, I told you. He said, bro, I remember you telling me. I said, there's always a secret team on working with AI in your case. He was like, no, it's not. Nah. I said, bro, trust me. I've been on those secret teams. There's always a secret team somewhere working. And this is not meant to scare nobody. It's just to enlighten you so you can prepare, for a rainy day and get ready. Because like I said, in the next 2 to 10 years, you can make a lot of money. Like if you learn AI now and cybersecurity, combine the two, you never have to worry about a job or money ever. Literally never. And I actually know the guy that worked. He was telling me, he said, "Man, that's crazy, bro." He said, "Now people, my boss talking about AI, asking me to show them how to do AI. They even want me to hook up some of their open cloud. It went from we hate AI to everybody talking about if you don't learn AI, we cooking y'all to everybody love AI." I said, "Yeah, I bet." When money get to being involved in your livelihood and layoffs coming, people change real quick. Who else? We got ESPN layoffs. So it's been a lot of layoffs. But I can guarantee the people that's learning AI and cybersecurity, I bet they stood those companies. Now this lady here, she worked at Microsoft. She said Microsoft is offering retirement plans for people, for everybody in the company, retirement plans and pensions. When companies get to trying to give you retirement plans and pensions, that mean a layoff coming. That's pretty much what she said to her. All right, go on to that. Let's get to some other good stuff. So I made this project. It's a GRC engineering project. It's Azure. Like I said, I'm gonna go over this in Josh Gen 2 or whatever. I'm gonna do it a little different. So with us, we're gonna go through our first day working at Anthropic Claude. So if you haven't read this, definitely want to check this out. I'm gonna go over the source code of this one. Pretty much with Azure. So with AWS, Azure, GCP, they're all the same concept. Like you get Azure Functions, a serverless computer, meaning the computer only turns on when it's a request being sent or somebody using it. Back in the old days, servers used to just run all day. You just used to get charged a whole bunch of money. So this is a fast way, quick way how people kind of run a service. And this is like GRC engineering stuff too. So we'll kind of go over this a little bit. So you pretty much got the request, what you want, the timer set. Then it's going to go find the collection stuff. Then if you're in GRC, you either got SOC 2 or you got NIST. And it's going to be mapping and looking for its stuff. It multi-authentication turned on. It's user access, stuff like that turned on. And the same thing for that. And then the AI, it analyzes all that stuff and delivers an email to you and to the stakeholders. That's pretty much how the GRC engineer is being automated. It's not necessary. GRC is not going away, but it is going into this process. And really, GRC engineering is really agentic AI engineering. They just call it GRC engineering. And doing all this stuff from scratch, it takes too long. You're gonna already have some already working source code to kind of plug in. So if you haven't read that, you can go look at that. And so Azure Defender for the cloud, it got like a vulnerability kind of scanner thing, but so does AWS, so does GCP. So it's kind of doing certain kind of scans, automation, cloud infrastructure. Bicep, that's pretty much infrastructure as code. When you see anything like infrastructure as code, it's meaning that policy is embedded in the code, just in case if somebody on a developer end or somebody on another end didn't configure stuff, it can't even come through unless it meet those qualifications. Meaning like if encryption and rest is not on that machine can't even come into that pipeline because the bicep infrastructure as code is making sure that those rules apply. Policy turned on, certain controls turned on. And most, like I said, once you know like NIST or HIPAA, you kind of know all of them because all of them kind of got the same concept. Like HIPAA might call information disclosure, something else, but the same thing is in this, or the same thing is in FedRAMP, or the same thing is in PA, but they're going to call it something else, but it's still not disclosing social security number, addresses, phone number, data record, meta records. It's gonna be the same concept, but it's gonna be called something else. So that's what the infrastructure as code do. And so say if a developer, he don't really secure the stuff on his end, but then he gets to the pipeline with the bicep, it's like the body guy, hey bro, you got that? You got the stuff secured? Nah, if you don't, you can't get through here. That's pretty much what that is. And the AI API, that's just kind of like just to analyze the data and send out automation emails. And let's automate that, and let's just send out the emails. All right, so it got some more stuff in there, some graphs. I like graphs and stuff. It kind of, when I first come into the job, I like to look at graphs. But we finna go over that right now. Let's see what else we get. All right, so that's the GitHub. And it's pretty interesting GitHub. Now we're gonna go. So I already got it pulled up. So I'm gonna use Cloud Code. I'm gonna just press control backtick or command backtick. And how I like to set up Cloud Code, I'm gonna show y'all my setup. Because it's different setups, it's all kind of different crazy stuff. So with the new Cloud Code update, Opus 4.7, it is expensive, man. And if you try to use the API key, it's even more expensive. But if you get the $20 a month subscription of Cloud Code, you can use Cloud Code without the API key. And I'm gonna show you kind of how to do that. And me, I like to do YOLO mode. I like to do full YOLO mode. So YOLO mode means don't ask me none, just complete the project that I told you to do. Like, don't ask me nothing. And you got plan mode, which some people feel more comfortable where you do sit up there and kind of plan out the project. Most people, we do that too. We do plan mode where we won't do no extra, it's just kind of plan out everything. Full YOLO mode, I kind of like that better. Edit mode mean it's gonna ask you every question about hey, should we do this? Should we do this? Do we do this? This here, you accept this? I ain't got time for that. And the guys at Anthropic, the guys that created Cloud Code themselves, they do full YOLO mode. They'll do some plan mode because they kind of know what they want, but it's mostly full YOLO mode. It's never accept mode. It's never default. All right, so we're gonna copy this, and if your model cloud mode is stuck on 4.7, just copy this whole thing here and just put that right there in the command line. And we're gonna do that right now. Just copy that. I don't need to do that. I like to I've pretty much run Haku. Haku is the cheapest. It's even cheaper than 4.6. On the $20 subscription, I can do anything. I can literally do anything. All right, put that in. So right now, all right, so we on Haku 4.5 Pro. I just got the $20 membership. So if this is your first time coming here, you just type in /login. Then you're gonna go, you can put your API key in. That's what most people kind of do, but it's super high. You can just do the 20-month subscription, just do the pro plan, then you just press enter. Then it's gonna run you over to the Cloud Anthropic website, have you authenticate, then you are pretty much logged in like you on Cloud Code website. And it works perfect. This right here is option 2 is expensive. And that's for like doing like API calls if you got hooked up to a website. There's definitely cheaper options than this. And this is mostly Amazon stuff, Microsoft, if you want to use their AI models. All right, so we're going to back up out of that. All right, and if you want to change your model, just type in /model, and you got got Haku, you got 4.7, which I'm not, I used it. It's good, but in about 5 minutes, it was gone. I was like, what the heck? And I did different tests on a AI trading project just to see what was the difference that it do. this did the most and got the best work and the cheapest. I'm like, what's the point even using this? 4.7. And 4.6, it did about half. But this right here, 4 Haku 4.5, it did perfectly fine. So it's just a tip for you. All right, what else? Let's see. All right, for yellow mode. All right, here we go. So we're gonna go here. So to pull up this configuration, I'm pretty sure most of y'all know about this. Go to plugins. Some of y'all don't. It's cool. I got you. So just type in /plugin. And pretty much when you go into work in the first day, you're going to spend about a month or two trying to figure out the code base, trying to figure out what's going on, what they want you to do, what's important to them. Most of the time, they got their own ideas, how they want to do stuff and stuff like that. And like I said, they're going to be wanting you to do stuff a certain way. All right, so plugins. Just type in /plugins, and you want to download the RAF loop, which I already got it downloaded. MCPs, they take up too much context. That's why a lot of people, that's why a lot of big companies don't use them. They take up a lot of context. Like I just got Playwright, like Playwright MCP and Playwright plugin, pretty much the same thing. I'm gonna disconnect it because I really don't need both of them. But what'll happen in the context menu, it'll put all of it in the context, and I'm gonna show y'all. Like so I got RAF loop and I got security guidance. All right, so we're gonna go to the context, and context meaning pretty much how much you can do with the AI context box before it get to playing dumb and acting dumb before you have to reset it. All right, so I got those. It load because it's gonna load up your Cloud folder all the time. Is my Cloud folder in here? I haven't gotten there. We're gonna set that up too. It's gonna load up your Cloud folder all the time. It's gonna load up all your tools. See, it load up all this Playwright MPC stuff that I don't need because I got the plugin. So all I gotta do is just turn it off as I want to. See, look, it's taking up 5.3 tokens. I ain't even typed nothing yet. It's taking up all that. So I can just turn that off. But I just leave it on because it's just a demonstration or whatever. All right. And to turn it off, you just go to /MCP. Then if you want to go to it and see Playwright, where we at? Playwright Connect plugin. That's that one right there. You need to press disconnect. You just press enter and then it'll do its thing. All right. So now we're gonna go to another one. It's called config. All right. What's that? Update no config. Escape. I don't need that. Shut up. So it's just /config right there. This one right here. All right. So this is where you set up the learning mode. So Claude got an option a lot of people don't really know nothing about. It's in output styles. You can have learning mode or explanation mode, meaning that this thing can pretty much teach you how to code. And like it's gonna code most of it, but it's gonna ask you questions and teach you like you side a senior developer. You can ask it questions. It's gonna have you maybe write in a few lines of code and ask you questions. Then if you don't know nothing, like okay, this is the answer. We're gonna act like we know nothing. And this is our first day at work. We don't know how to code. We don't know absolutely nothing. So once we go to output, we're gonna click into there. And then we can hit that by space, clicking space. And then you got default mode. This is the normal mode everybody running in. Claude completes code and tasks efficiently and provides concise response. Okay, we want to do learning mode. And you got explanation mode, which is mean it pretty much teaches you the code base, what's going on, like line by it like really digs in and teach you what's connected to what, how, what, and how, diagram stuff like that. But we want to do interacting gamified learning mode, which is this it's awesome. And this is the fastest way to learn how to code, I believe. This is the way I was doing it anyway, but I'll do more of a PDF, make the have ChatGPT write me a PDF of the code base, but this is even faster. So we changed it, we just press enter and we changed it. Now it said learning mode. Now we got to press enter to save. All right, now we are good to go. I like to double check just to make sure it took. right, scroll down. Outputs, output learning. Yep, it's on there. Press escape out of there. All right. Now I got this little prompt just to make sure the thing behaves itself. It's pretty much just saying, hey, I want you to use this plugin to pretty much teach me what this code base is doing. That's pretty much what that means. But first, when we first come into a project, your LLM, you want to do /init. And what that's going to do, that's going to have the AI read all your source code so it can know what's going on. It's going to get familiar with the LLM. Then it's going to write you a cloud code of what's going on. It's going to automatically write it. And we're just going to press enter. We're going to let that cook. That's going to do its thing. It normally do pretty fast. And if you want to talk to your LLM without stopping it, interrupting or wasting tokens, just type in by the way, and you can just ask it quick questions. Now, kind of like a conversation while it's still kind of doing its thing in the background. Just type in what you want to ask it or whatever. But that is almost done. Let's see. While that cook, we're going to go over here. And this is the explanation version of it. I give all the prompts too. It's pretty much just like I said, it don't really tell you what the code and how to code. It just pretty much teach you what the code is doing. And this is a good too. This is a prompt I got to make the diagrams. And even when you're making vulnerability management, Agentic AI, or you're making SOC analyst, Agentic AI, or you're making GRC engineering, stuff like this, you're gonna want to know because you're gonna come into different code bases. Like you're gonna come into different code bases. It's gonna be very interesting. Let's see. Some questions. What it do? Okay. All right. All right. So it's done cooking. It's probably asking us, hey, do you want us to create a Cloud Code folder? All right. Cloud Code is now ready for the feature. Okay, so it already created it. Yep, it already created the Cloud folder. Pretty much your Cloud folder is pretty much small baby directions of what this project about and what it's doing. And your model is going to read this file every single time. We're going to keep it like this. This pretty much tell the what's going on. All right, now we're going to put that nice little prompt in here so we can learn. This if you don't even know how to code, you don't know what's going on. This makes stuff so easy. I think this and the guy, the person that made Cloud Code made this for this specific reasons because people was just up in arms is just going so crazy about this stuff. He said it was just like, no, you have to learn how to code. He's like, dude, I didn't create a Cloud Code. I didn't did this while you over there got one little project. I brought billions of dollars, and you think about, but still you have to. He like, all right, whatever. He said he don't even argue with them. He just let them think what they want. All right, so this prompt here is pretty much gonna give us a diagram. A diagram is pretty much a good flow of what the project about. And we're just gonna press enter. So let me see, I can show you the prompt. It's pretty much just saying, hey, create me a very detailed ASCII diagram showing the flow of what just happened in this project, or files or folders or lines of codes or section. Now that means you pretty much, I just put it in there like that. Or you can ask it, hey, this project, or hey, this file on there, hey, this folder on there, hey, this line of code, or hey, this section of code. We're just gonna put the whole thing in there. So we put the whole thing in there. Because like I said, when you come to work, you're really not gonna be doing nothing from scratch unless it's a new project and there's some kind of new feature or some kind of new add-on, and you still gonna have to know the old code base. What's going on? Not necessarily know about hard, but knowing what it do, what's the flow, what's going on, what's hooked up to what, and got coders in here. They know exactly what I'm talking about. When you get there, there's gonna be a lot of bugs, and like jobs I've been at, we got like a Kanban board and use Jira, and all the tickets go in there. What need to be fixed? What's priority? What's halfway done? What's in review? What's new on the board? What's coming up? What's done? And that's how we got our agents set up like that too, where the AI agents can see this Kanban board to see what's on the agenda for that day or that month or that week. And we can assign that AI agent that task, and they can go do that task or do that thing. All right, so that's cooking and doing this thing. Let's see what's in here while that's cooking. So the Cloud code, let's see. I think I think it's about done. It's almost done. Let's scroll this up. It's gonna make a whole new file too. All right, so it's done. It's an architecture diagram, and let's read it. All right, Radix order gear, linear decision tree showing exact order of checks, Anthropic, OpenAI, Gemini, okay, yada, yada, yada. The current loop is in the core, and it's alternate between Git, okay, we don't need to know about that. All right, both files are ready. All right, so this is a high level. We already looked at that. Let's look at the architecture flow. I like these diagrams because it kind of give me a flow of what's going on. User start OpenClaw. We already did that. Load up the files right here. Profile checkpoints. Initial side, the keychain, stuff like that. Load provider. And like I said, you'll get used to more of these terms the more you kind of do a lot of this stuff. All right, these the keys is checking out the LLM, what LLM is using, API key. And this is like the flow normal, how they go through. Got the Anthropic SDK, the OpenAI, the Gemini. That's pretty much just like a plug-in tools you can use. They're just saying, hey, these are the tools. All right, some more files. Load system prompt. These the prompts that's getting loaded up in the query. Like I said, and this is pretty much the source code from Anthropic Cloud Code. All right, that's the next layer. Base system prompt, tool schema, model configuration, setting context. Like I said, and easy, like I said, you can get this source code, do the same thing. Like I said, and we're not gonna go through all of it. I just want to kind of give y'all a rough of what it look like and the stuff you have to do. And what you don't understand, you just copy it and say, hey man, I don't know what the heck you talking about. I am a newborn baby at coding. And I always stay open. So I'm just gonna go through that. So it just made all these diagrams. Big source code, big code at real companies, they code base be huge. I'm talking about big. All right, so it's going through that, complete provider. So it's going through all that. All right, so now we're gonna go through the kind of questionnaire side of things. All right, we're gonna go back to this prompt here. And I want this prompt right here. I want that baby to teach me how to code. All right, we're gonna start a fresh window. I can do it in this window, but for some reason, it do a lot better when I just start a fresh window. So if I do it in this window, it's done, but it's gonna start to try to compress stuff because it's such a small model. So I just like start a new window. Now I just press up to go back to my Claude, and I just go back in like that. But I still keep that window open because just in case I want to go back to it for something. Then I just paste in. Okay, make sure I'm on Haku because I ain't got time to be running 4.7. Then I just paste that in right there. Now let that kick that off. Now this is gonna go through. Let's see. It may or may not ask us some questions because I got, hey, don't ask me nothing. Just go do what I'm telling you to do. All right, so it came back already. All right, let's see. I love this approach. I want you to build open cloud. So pretty much I told it I want us to build cloud code from scratch. I want you to teach me. You code some, I code some. You secure some, I secure some. You type in some code, I type in some code. Ask me some question, explain this, stuff like that. And it's kind of in there, kind of gamified. All right, so I love this approach. I want you to build an open cloud from scratch in a separate learning directory so you can understand how it works by actually writing the code. Now, we're not going to go through and type code. I ain't going to bore y'all with that, but I'm just showing y'all the concepts of what y'all can do. And it gives you if you don't know the answer, it gives you the answer. If you want a hint, it gives you the hint. If you don't want to answer, it let you figure it out. All right, it'll do it that way. However strict or easy you want it to be. All right, this is a great way to learn. Let me clarify a few things so things can get right. Quick question. Learning by, do you want to build a simplified version that captures the core concepts? maybe 20% of the full project, or we're gonna probably do that one because we'll be here all day. Like I said, I want to see if anybody got any questions or anything. All right, or you want to build the actual full version step by step, long journey. Now, man, when I come to a company, I pretty much do this. I pretty much say, all right, what's most important to the boss? Because I'm finna study that. So we're gonna do the 20% and see what else it's talking about. Learning pace, one feature at a time. Wait for your code after each step stops. Quick pace, where I request code frequently. I kind of like both of those. Starting point, should I start by explaining what open cloud does, actually behavior, what is its structure, architecture, both at once. So I'm probably gonna do both at once. Let's see what else it got. Since you're new to code, I'm a complete baby newborn. I'm gonna tell you, like, so before all this AI stuff came out, we used to have to look up code and put code in other code, try to make it work and debugging. Most of the errors and stuff it was done, you learned a lot by debugging. I pretty much learned how to code by debugging. I did the traditional way. It didn't really stick to me until I actually got my hand on a real working project and saw how things actually work and how they applied in the concepts. And it's like that in the real. That's why I say learn code by pretty much doing what we're doing now and what we're finna do. All right, let's see. Since you're new to code, it's gonna create a temporary folder that won't affect the main folder, and it's gonna create a temporary folder so we can actually make the project, everything. All right, command line interface that we receive text-based provider system, and it talks the difference, simple tool to execute bash, gradually complexity. All right. You write meaningful pieces of code like how should we store API keys, or what happens when a tool runs, and I explains why each piece it matters. Does this sound right, or would you prefer a different approach? All right, so we are gonna pick. I want to do 20%. I'm just gonna copy that. I'm gonna say yes, 20%. Yes to this, and what else we want to say yes to? We want to say one feature at a time, waiting for your code after each step. Yep, let's do that. We're gonna do that. Quick pace where request the code frequency. No, we're gonna do this. We're gonna say and yes. Get out the way. Get out the way. Yes to this. All right, what else we got? And starting point. Should I start explaining it? Well, nope. Let's see. Both. We're gonna do both. And just gonna copy that whole thing. And we're gonna say and do both. All right. So we got that. Yep, that's good to go. We're gonna let that cook. All right. Now, if we was on the $20 plan and we was on 4.7, man, that thing will almost already be clunked out. Then if you was on the API key, it'll be even worse. That's why you hear people got the big bills, $1,000 a day, $100 a day. I'm like, I'm not gonna pay no $100 a day. And I got money. I'm like, I'm not paying no $100 a day.
Yeah, that's why I switched to KMK 2.6 with Olama.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. That's a good one. And Open Router is a good one. And I was looking into because I want to try out the DeepSeek 4 came out, and I want to try that out. But I know it's a China version, so I'm gonna have to be like, all right, how I'm gonna do this? So Open Code, you can use their API key to test out DeepSeek. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do.
Yeah, the same with Olama.
Yeah. And it is
And the good thing with
it's
Olama,
$5 a month.
yeah, Olama is $20, but it never runs out.
Yeah, it never
It's
runs out.
crazy.
Yeah, so you can try pretty much any model. All right, let's see what we got. Let's see. Perfect. Let's set up this amazing learning journey. I'll create a learning folder. Okay, we'll build an open cloud from scratch, and that's what and why we'll build. All right, let's start by creating the learning directory. Okay, cool. So create the folders. Now let me create a learning guide that explains everything. All right. So create the learning guide. That is okay. All I gotta do is put that on error. All right, failed. Wrote the learning guide. Now let me create the basic project file placeholder to. All right, wrote that. And when you're looking at code, you'll kind of get used to looking at doing stuff like this. At first, it looked like the Matrix. All right, perfect. Now let me show you what we've built and request your first code contribution. So now it's like, hey, it's time for you to code, but I don't know how to code. I don't want to code. Well, code. All right, TypeScript and safety net. So it's just pretty much explaining what TypeScript is. We're gonna pull this up a little bit more. What TypeScript is? Let's see. Learn by doing. Let's see what the first question is. Let's see what we got. All right. Let's see. Show me your implementation. Write the 5 lines of code. Guess. They want me to write some code, y'all. But what if I don't know how to write code? I don't even know what you're talking about. Where do you even write the code at? I don't know. All right. That's where the directions come in. We're gonna slide this over here so we can see what the heck going on. All right. Context. We set up the skeleton. Open claw. Main loop. All right. This is critical first step. How do we get to the text in the terminal? All right, let's see your task. All right, here we go right here. Your task and learning implementation, matrix stuff, hieroglyphics. This function should ask the user for input. I got it. Question fallbacks to ask the user a question. All right, show me the implementation. All right, so the question guide, it is, let me find it. I saw it up here, it made it. All right. Right here. All right. So you see how I clicked on I just did control or command, I just pressed click, the MD file. That's the file that wrote for the instructions. All right, part 1. What is OpenCloud? All right. What you do with it. All right, so we want to pull up. So now we're going to pull up. We don't need to know about that. That's another question. So these are the different questions. All right. What file they want us to write it in. Let's find out what file we want us to write this in. All right. I saw it in here somewhere. Let me see. Your task. Here we go, right here. So that's the file right there. And all I did to go to see how you got to kind of read a little bit. I'm just so used to like I know I saw it in here. So our task. When you see this TypeScript, it may be Python, it have py or TypeScript. So it's pretty much saying, hey, we got to write and answer this question, and we got to put the answer to this question in this file that we just clicked on right here. It said, like I said, your task, and it give you all the direction. We just didn't read all that. I just kind of skimmed through because I kind of know where it said a little bit. You get like that too. All right, so we clicked on that. That's where we're gonna put the stuff at. And let's move this over here. All right, let's see. Most of the time with this is gonna, where you got to put the answer is gonna have, you place, your code goes here. It's either gonna say pass or your code goes here. Now we can say, hey man, I don't know what the heck you talking about. I don't know what code got a girl there. You supposed to be teaching me. Why you asking me these questions? You know I don't know the answer. No, I'm just dramatic. I like to have fun and play like we at school. So I'm gonna say, hey, I don't know what code to put there. I am a baby. I don't know what code to put there. You tell me because I am a baby. Now you don't have to be dramatic like me, but just say if you did know how to code and you want to chat to, you just really want to get deep in the weeds, you can actually go through and be like, all right, we finna get deep in. I want to get deep in the weeds. You can either do it through ChatGPT or you can have it kind of coach you. Hey, give me some hints, or what you think I should put here. All right, so for Hermes, anytime you see for Hermes, this is kind of like a big clue. All right, to do Hermes implementation. So when you see that pretty much means for you, this function should ask the user for input using this. Return a promise that resolve to their input of the screen. Like I said, don't worry, you'll get used to all this crazy terminology. Don't worry, it took me a minute. I think this is a way faster way. And they said, all right, you're gonna put your answer here. I said, hey, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a baby. I don't know what code to put there. I'm gonna say, give me the answer. Just give me the answer. Just give me that. Give me that answer. Give me that answer. All right. They're gonna say, all right, since you just a baby, we gonna spoon baby feed you. All right, you got it. All right, here we go. Let's see your code. Yep, see right here where I was saying your code goes here. All right, let's see what code. So it's still cranking. It's finna put some stuff in. I say, give me the answer. It's cooking up its thing. Let's go back up here and see what it got for us. All right. So it look like it had to download something. Insight. Promise or constraints or okay. Is it done yet? All right. Look like it's done. Like we might have an answer. Let's see what we got. So excellent. The code compile. It already put the code in there. Let's see. It already put the code in there. Let's see if we can find it. We can just find it through here. So normally what'll happen is you say, oh, sometimes you gotta say, hey, don't put the code in there. I want to type the code in. All right. Let's see. Next step. Now we want the, let's see, you have a working CLI input prompt. Nope. We want to go back up. I want the answer. I can say, what was the answer, bro? What was the answer that you put there? And you can talk to this thing like it's a regular person, you know. What was the answer? What was the answer you put there? And like I said, when you're doing your Agentic AI project, you're gonna go back and forth with the AI, kind of learning what's going on, what happened. Like I said, it just answered the question. Normally, it'll say, "All right, type in this code." I said, "Perfect question. Let me show you exactly what I put in the." All right, so now it's finna show us. Normally, it would have asked us. I guess I put too much information when I say, "Give us the answer." I put the answer in there. All right, here we go, right here. So the whole thing together. This was the function. And then normally you would have just typed it in there like this. And then that section that's it, which is right here. Yep, right there. Yep, that's it right there. That's identical. All right, so we're just gonna delete it. Say, hey, we're just kind of gonna go through it. We're gonna copy it. Or if you just want to type, you can just type it line for line. If you just really want to code and do all that, sometimes like say if it got like an error, everything red, just highlight this whole thing and just press Shift Tab, and that'll normally correct everything. Cause sometimes the spacing kind of crazy and stuff like that. All right, so that's pretty much it for that. Like I said, you can go back and forth, and it'll teach you. Like I said, you can go as many questions as you want. You can go all day. You can just you can pick through the whole code. You say, hey, I don't know what none of this mean. Can you tell me what this mean? And you kind of highlight that, then it's like, all right, what does this mean? What just happened, bruh? What? just happened, bruh? I'm just having fun, y'all. What just happened, bro? What is this? Then I'm like, all right, this is this. Let me explain it to you. All right. So look now, I said, okay, bro. So now it's talking bro back to me. Now we bros now. All right, whatever. Let me explain this like you ordering at a food restaurant. All right, the simple version. Someone calls this function or whatever. Here's what happens. And kind of go through their translation. Hey, I'm about to ask for something, but I'm going to take a moment. Just wait. I promise I'll give you the answer. Then go through their translation. I ain't making a promise when I get the answer. I'm delivering it in the box. All right. So just go. Y'all can see the applications and the concepts. But yep, that's pretty much it. Like I said, anybody got any questions? I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. All right. So what y'all think? Think we got it pretty easy these days? What you thinking, Nan? Like compared to how we used to learn code back in the days, compared to how you can learn code now. What's your thoughts?
Oh yeah. This is totally different, right? So this speeds up the entire learning process if we do it right and not be lazy. Because it's very easy to
Copy and
get
paste.
lazy and not learn, copy paste and like not learn in the beginning stages, because in the traditional way of software engineering, well, if you don't know what you're doing, you're not going to get the result and you fail the course at the university. Here, even if you don't know, AI is going to build it for you. So you got to be very careful that you actually, even though AI is helping you and it's doing a lot of the heavy lifting, you understand and learn. If the goal is to learn properly, then you got to make sure that you learn. So not slack off and like be lazy and like just use AI and abuse it if during the learning phase. But once you learn everything and you understand everything, then definitely vibe coding is the way to go, because nobody cares how smart you are or how many lines of code you write when you actually get a job. Can you actually get the work done? And you see your work and the amount of uh, uh, things that you're building, how is it like translating into dollars or whatever currency? That's all they care about when you actually get a job. That's it.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. Exactly right. Yeah. What you finna say?
Yeah,
Somebody else
but
finna say something?
one thing, Trey. One thing, Trey. In the beginning, you mentioned about the job market, but from my experience, I'm purely talking about software engineering because that I get interviews a lot. So I do interviews and people call me for interviews. Even though everybody understands, once the position is filled, let's say I get hired for a position, the day-to-day operation, everybody uses AI. Everybody knows, the recruiter knows, everybody in the company knows, because it's there. AI is the new kid in the block and everyone is aware of it. Okay. But during the hiring process, when they interview me, it's still the traditional way. Which pisses me off, because why are you testing me on the things that I'm not going to use? You agree with me that
Exactly.
I can use AI when I get the job, but you're telling me not to use AI in the interview process. That still doesn't make sense to me. But the the recruiters and the recruitment industry is still catching up. Even they are confused, because right now I've been like in two different types of interviews. One is the traditional interview where you just like open the Google sheet and then you write code in plain text and they just see you. You share your screen and then they just see you do it, write algorithms and explain what you're doing. So that is happening. That is the old way. And the new way is another, not the new way, but another way that I was, for one of the interviews I was told to do is, they give a take home assignment. I can use AI, do any magic I want. But when I bring back the finished product, the take home assignment for the second round of interview, I just have to talk to a senior person and then I have to build the system live with that person, like build the functionality, build the total, the entire, not the code, but the actual, the, what do you call it, the architecture. They want to test that. So I think the recruitment phase is still confused on what is the right approach in terms of recruiting for technical roles in software engineering. But everybody agrees. Even the recruiters, I asked them after the interview is over, am I allowed to use AI? What are the current developers and everybody in the company are doing? Are they using AI? Are they not using AI? What are they? Everybody uses AI. It's up to them. We don't force them to do it, but I see a lot of them using it. But when it comes to interview process, they just don't want to even bring that into the picture, which doesn't make sense. They're just confused, in my opinion. But they got to change. But the change is very slow, which pisses me off because right now, when people are looking for jobs, there is a disconnect with what is actually happening in the industry or in the actual workplace when you get the job and the interview process, that 2, 3, 4 rounds of interview, that there is no connect.
Like I think they are like stuck in the logic of, and this odd logic of if something is breaking, you have to know how to fix it on your own without AI. I think that's why they are still looking for people who can code. But
Yeah.
I agree with you. Like all in all, when AI gets better and better, it should be like they have to tweak some things to make it better. And actually, I'm right now I'm thinking like learning to code is something super important, but I try to automate everything. And when I have like a lot of time left, because the things I want to do, they're done already, because I built my stack, then I want to learn coding because, for example, I realized when I want to find a job, like looking for jobs is so annoying. Like it costs so much time, and I try like to automate everything, and then after that I want to learn the coding because I don't have to look for jobs or something like that, and I can make time free. That's the way I am approaching it right now.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. I understand exactly both of y'all saying, and I've seen it. I've been coding since 2012. I tell the company in one of my first questions, I ask the recruiter or the person that's trying to interview me, how many rounds of interview we doing, and are we doing the coding test? What I've noticed, companies is about half and half. I do not even accept companies that want to take me through coding tests and go through 5 rounds, 4 rounds of interview. I tell them no out the gate. And I didn't got hired at big companies. And like I don't even interview with those companies that are gonna take me through 1,000 rounds of interviews. I gotta do all these coding tests. They want me to waste my time to code, take some project home, waste my bro. I don't do it. So I tell them out the gate. I literally ask them that question. I said, hey, is there any coding tests? Are there how many rounds of interview? And they tell me, hey, I'm not interested. Now if they say no, hey, we got most companies I got hired at, I've never literally had to do a coding test. The cybersecurity jobs and the software developer jobs and the full stack developer jobs for the last 10 plus years. Now I have had recruiters say, hey, you need to take 10 coding tests, 8 rounds. I'd be like, kiss my butt, get off my phone. I'm not, but like I said, but I'm kind of bold like that. So there are opportunities out there that don't allow coding tests. I remember like 11 labs. They wanted me to do 5 rounds of interviews and 2 coding tests. I told the recruiter, I said, dude, y'all already did an OSync on me. Y'all know what I can do. We can come in and talk about my projects and what y'all pain points is and what problems y'all trying to solve. I can tell y'all right there how I would code it. I said, but I'm not doing no traditional coding test that had nothing to do with your stack at work. I told him that. He started laughing. He said, yeah, you're right. He said, let me go back to the lab labs and tell. He said, okay. So they completely took the coding test and these 8 rounds of interviews off the board just because I said something. Now think about that. We talking about 11 labs, and like I said, I finished. Everybody was pleased. So, hey, this guy knows his stuff. Hey, we want to give you an offer. I said, yeah. What's the offer? They were talking about stocks. I think it was about like 400. It was like 310 a year plus like $100,000 in stocks. I was gonna be building all kind of crazy stuff. I said, all right, what's the catch? What's what? You got to come to the office once a month. I said, not gonna happen. I only do remote. I said, I only
Right.
do remote. You know, so there are opportunities out there, but man, you got
Mm-hmm.
to ask questions because for some people it's kind of hard to even get an interview. Like Trevino, you talking about telling people to shut up? I barely got this interview. I be like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I get it. I said, but what you can do, you got to kind of revamp your profile and revamp your Dice profile
Yeah.
and your LinkedIn and your Monster and your ZipRecruiter and your Robert Half. You got to go in there and target to what you want. Like Albert. Albert, he already working and he got people trying to interview him. He be doing interviews and like he got a nice profile. Like he be getting a lot of AI stuff and cybersecurity stuff. I get a lot of cybersecurity stuff. Every once in a while, I get some coding stuff, like just pure software developer, but most of the time it's cybersecurity and AI. So
Mm-hmm.
Albert profile is a good profile to look at, see what people want, in my profile. Like so Albert,
Yeah.
his is more
Who?
like
Uh,
what's that,
oh,
bro?
Albert. Okay.
Yeah, Albert, yeah,
Yeah.
Albert, yeah,
Check it
Albert.
out.
What
Hold
you
on one
say, Albert?
second.
Oh no, you good,
Yeah,
bro?
no. Also, as well, what you want to really look at too on your LinkedIn profile when you put like your top 5 skills, those jobs they'll hit you up with. Like if you place like your top 5 skills, they'll start hitting you up for like AI security jobs, any vulnerability management, whatever skills you have, threat detection, things like that. And even on your Dice profile, they'll start hitting you up.
Like, but what is your like suggestion if you
Mm-hmm.
pivot from your job, which is not depending to AI or cybersecurity at all? Like you have everything to do with projects, like in your free time.
Mm-hmm.
How you would position yourself in LinkedIn?
Basically, how I position myself on LinkedIn is
Because Albert got no degree, no certification. He wasn't in cybersecurity, and he got into cybersecurity and AI. So explain what did you do, Albert?
basically just did projects number one. That's number one. Two, you have to post on LinkedIn. Like you can't be scared to make a post, talk about your journey. You can't be scared. It's
Yeah. I see your post all the time, Albert. Yeah, I make sure I like it and share too.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I
I
see you
know.
posting.
Yeah, I know or not. It's just I'm mentioning it for Joshua. Joshua,
Oh
yeah, for
yeah.
yeah, Joshua, you gotta put yourself out there. You can't be scared to put yourself out there because
Yeah, yeah, don't worry about what others think, man,
yeah,
because like
exactly.
it doesn't matter. Because it's just like a look at your post like for 2 seconds and then they move on anyway. It doesn't matter, except recruiters, maybe they might spend like 5 seconds by looking into your profile, like go to your profile, but that's it. They just forget it because people concentration is like a labradoodle these days, 3 seconds max. So don't worry.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then I was on one AI interview, and then one thing that's kind of pissing me off what I'm seeing in these AI engineer interviews, if you ain't building nothing production, they don't even want really
Yeah, yeah,
touch you to begin with. They don't even want to
Yeah.
touch
yeah. It's true. Yeah, and that's
And
why I
how?
said AWS, GCP, and Azure. That's why I said that kind of when you kind of get to talking like that stuff that's in production and got traffic, and you can kind of talk production talk and pipeline talk, and it's crazy how people in the interview they barely know what production is, but if you can just say anything that sound like anything, you pretty much win. But if you don't say nothing, it's so crazy. They'd be like, yeah. They'll just go to the next person. It's stupid. It's just so crazy how the interview is.
definitely. They ask, oh, how you collaborate? What teams you collaborate? Because I built a project using NAN. The recruiter lady, she ain't even wasn't really bothered or interested. She was like, oh, did you build this in production? So I figured out for the AI engineer part, I'm like, all right,
Yeah,
you ain't getting hired unless you build some production. So my focus now is just more AI security.
yeah.
So I'm just going to focus on the AI security route because I feel like that's the easier route to go to.
Hmm.
If you know how to defend against a prop injection or
Yeah.
even even take data from your logs from your job and train a model based on, all right, what do we need to focus on as a whole within the company? Taking those logs, training a model. It could be a regression or a supervised or unsupervised learning model, things like that. So it's ways to get in, but for the AI engineer part, it's just if you ain't building up the production, I'm sorry to say, just get
Yeah.
stack about.
Yeah, they want to have numbers like how much time you have been able to reduce, like, or they want how many money you earned. I had
Bro, when they ask
an
about
interview
money,
like this.
listen,
Yes.
if they ask about money, I had companies try to. I be like, look, it's against the law to discuss money, and I can't tell you money and revenue and how much I make and how much, bro. Sometimes I say something, I be like, nah, not gonna happen. Like I said, and what Al was saying is correct. The best way to learn how production work is cloud, AWS, Azure, or GCP, and you can even vibe code a lot of that. You can even have the Claude or Google Anti-Grav to even teach you that to understand. All right, this how production look. This what pipeline. This what Terraform is. Oh, this how deploying stuff work. Okay, this what happen when you get a 100,000 requests. Oh, okay, stuff like that. Like I said,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
What you
you
say?
got. No, I'm just saying it's just you gonna go through the weeds and
Yeah.
the trials and tribulations when getting hired. I'm going through that right now, trying to get another job, a second cybersecurity job. So you is most of these companies, they be too picky.
Yeah.
They be
Yeah.
too picky.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, that's why I only stick with vulnerability management, GRC analyst, GRC engineering, and agentic AI security engineer or GRC engineer. I don't really do AI engineering because AI engineering and agentic AI engineering, they kind of two different things. And I don't
Okay.
really mess with AI engineering because it's just too much weird stuff that goes. I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, oh no, I ain't gonna do all that. But like I said,
I
it's
seen that with AI security too.
yeah.
The lady was like, "Oh, based on your experience, I think you won't be a good fit." I'm just like, AI security is new, so how you gonna tell me if I'm not a good fit?
She look,
They-
she was mad. She said that guy gonna try to take my job.
It's just make it make sense. It's just I like nowadays. I feel bad for everybody that's trying to look for something even in the job market because they picky, and then they want you to do 3 jobs at once as well
Oh
and pay
yeah,
you
Oh yeah,
less.
they need an entire department in like one
oh
person.
yeah,
I
they
was like, what the
compressing.
hell? No.
It's just
Yeah.
like Josh
I
saying, they compressing. They definitely compress, and now they finna
yeah.
compress AI into cybersecurity. So that's gonna be
Yep.
another stack that people gonna have to learn. Be like, hey y'all, we spending too much time looking at theory. We need to do some projects. But like I said,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but
Hmm.
I ain't want to make this call too long. I just want to kind of show everybody that kind of like how, because when you go to the company, what's the best and fastest way to kind of like get up and running and look at your code. Like me, I make a project. Once I get the project working and running, then I go back and try to figure out what happened in the project. So when I get into the interview, I can know how to
Mm-hmm.
talk. And then when I want to know about production, that's when I get to deploying stuff to the cloud and the pipeline, the infrastructure as code and stuff like that. Then they help me understand and be able to talk. Oh, AWS. Oh yeah, cloud. Oh, okay, server, pipeline, deploy, Versailles. Like all that production talk, they like to kind of talk. But yeah, but so if nobody ain't got no questions, like I said, I'm gonna go ahead on out. I'm gonna show up in Josh meeting. I'm gonna show a little something out. I'm gonna do a little GRC engineering presentation, pretty much what we just did for the cloud code. I'm gonna do a GRC engineering. I'm gonna do a little bit more GRC engineering stuff, so people kind of
Okay.
understand. But yeah, but his meeting start at 5 Central Time, so I'm gonna go in there and just kind of do a little thing, talk a little bit, you know. I'm gonna do my best not to scare everybody. You know me, I like to kind of keep it real, but I kind of like to try, give people hope too, but without lying to them. Like, oh no, nothing's going on. You're okay. You don't have to do projects. You don't have to do nothing. No, no, no. Just sit back. You're gonna be okay. I'm like, nah, I can't lie to people like that.
It's changing and it's changing real fast, and it's more layoffs coming this summer. Definitely.
Yeah, yeah. like I think in my job that they've been hinting at, hey, to keep your job, you're gonna have to learn AI too. People like, we not learning AI. It's stupid. It's dumb. You can't do that. You gotta have. They like, hey, we just told you what it is. And it's funny how the guy that worked at Apple, he said, bro, he said I was wondering why Apple was so quiet on this AI stuff. They wasn't saying nothing.
Yeah,
He was like,
yeah,
bro, he
they're
said
falling
they
behind.
told us. He said we ain't doing AI, yada yada yada. He said out of nowhere last week. He said, oh yeah, we getting a new CEO. He coming in and we got AI too. We finna do some AI stuff. He was like, what the heck just happened? I said, bro, they actually got a secret team. I've been on those secret teams. But yeah, y'all, if nobody got no questions, like I said, I'm gonna holler at y'all later. Thanks for joining and supporting, hanging out. Like I said, y'all know y'all always got DM, got any questions or whatever you want to talk about. I'm always open to chat.
No problem, Trey. Always a pleasure, man.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. All right,
Thank you,
peace out,
guys.
everybody. See you, sis. See y'all in the other
See you
meeting.
soon.
All right, you guys take care.
Hey, everybody. See you in Josh's
Bye.
meeting. Bye.
All right.
All right, bye.